day, everyone, and thank you again for coming on the Speakers Bureau. If you've been on our program before, you know what it's about. If this is your first time, maybe you're flipping through the channels or just somehow you found us, welcome. And we're going to tell you a little bit about what we're all about. And I believe this is your day if you're flipping through those channels, because we have a very special a guest who is going to share his life story with us. And it's meant to, he does this and we do this because it's meant to encourage, inspire, and motivate those in our community that you might be going through a little bit, you might need a little bit of encouragement, you know. I find that sometimes I need encouragement daily. So that is what this program is all about, that through our lives, we can help someone else maybe be able to have some insight that they might not have had previously. And so at this time, we want to welcome Mr. Keith Davis with us. He is the principal, the proud principal, I would say, of Sam Gaines K-8. And but he's also got a tremendous background in this district as far as principalship in other schools and AP in other schools. And so he's just going to take us through a journey today. And welcome so much, Mr. Davis, for coming. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
I know how busy you are, how busy our principals are, and our district is, and especially during this time.
Correct.
So I really appreciate you accepting the invite to come.
Thank you for the offer. I appreciate it. I'm more than honored.
Good. Now, can you start out with us, just sharing with us what you do currently?
Okay, so my role is the principal of Samuel Gaines Academy of Emerging Technologies. This will be year 7 in October, and we've been very fortunate and blessed through our process. I first got there, we had to come out of DA status, which is on the state accountability list. Mm-hmm. And we had to become a magnet school at the same time. We were awarded a magnet grant.
Let's slow down a little bit, go back, because I want to make sure that people are getting this.
Correct.
When you first started at Sam Gaines as the principal,
correct,
you were on a list. Can you explain that list a little bit more?
So this is kind of like the naughty list of academics in the state, but we were considered like one of the bottom 300 schools in the past, but we were on a state accountability list, which is called DA list. And this list is created by the state due to the lack of performance academically in reading, writing, math, social studies, science, in those core areas. And so they usually receive a school grade, and at the time the school grade was a D as in dog. And in order to come out of that list, you have to perform at a level and move your school grade up.
And so how are you performing today?
So through the work of hard people and people doing wonderful things, and my leadership and the support of the community, we are very fortunate. We kind of tallied up the scores, and currently we are right there at the A. So we've been able to do a full turnaround of the school, and then it's been phenomenal. It's kind of like walking through the forest and you don't even know that you have all these wonderful things occurring because you're so busy walking, trying to get through things. So to go through this process is unique. It's a unique process.
It is unique, and it's phenomenal what has been going on at Sam Gaines. And for those of you that don't know, Mr. Davis is, because of the great work and achievement that he's done at Sam Gaines K-8, he was nominated and chosen as the Principal of the Year for St. Lucie County School District. So you're looking at someone that has done a tremendous job in changing around some areas where our kids were really suffering. He's brought it full circle and have proven, I want to say to the world, but I'll say St. Lucie County. He's proven to St. Lucie County what our children can do when we put the right things in their path to get it done. So I know there's someone out there that want to know, okay, how did you turn this school from a D school to an A school? Please share that with us.
Right. So the first thing I did was coming in is I just had to get and analyze exactly what is going on and what is occurring. So I had to, kind of delve deeper. So this gave me the opportunity to learn the students there, to watch the teachers, see who needed guidance and who needed most support, and don't be afraid to make those brave changes because it has to be about student improvement and student academics, along with behavior. Going out into the community, connecting with parents, Saturdays, evenings, afternoons. Sometimes I would see some of my teachers at homes when I'm getting there, or they're at the next door neighbor house, connecting with those families and telling them or providing a way that they can connect with us and be part of the school community because that's paramount. And then afterwards, just making sure we had a plan to focus on instruction and the pieces that the students were missing and just staying on it the whole time. It was that vision, that focus, and just remaining focused and really just discerning the different levels of who needed what in what areas.
Yes, and our students must pass state exams.
Correct.
So how do you get a student to pass a state exam who has been just flunking out?
Okay. So I like to go under is there a skill issue or a will issue? So one thing is, we try to connect with the students to make sure it's not a will issue. So we would use whomever adult that is on, whatever adult that's on campus. So it may be my maintenance person that can connect with it, maybe my coach, maybe a dean, because we just want to make sure that child wants to be in school first. And then we want to take care of those basic needs, make sure they're fed, those really basic needs, make sure they can be a child at the school, because a lot of the times the students are going home and they're taking care of their little brothers and sisters and things like that. So they have the weight of the world. So trying to eliminate those pieces before we can even begin with the academics. And so then after that, just taking a look and just, casting out, like if I have a student that's in third grade that's struggling with reading, we'll take a look in their foundations and making sure they're able to get some of the basics down, because I don't only look at third grade year, I try to project and where they're gonna be by 6th or 7th grade, so we can make sure they can support them, or we can support them. The unique thing about it is I have a background in high school, so I'm able to even project even further along. Even if they're not with me, I can tell where they should be by 10th grade, and then we incrementally break up those pieces on how they should be performing in their reading. And it's just it's an ongoing thing. It's an ongoing process, and we just really take time to focus on those deficits.
And more important than all of that, that's extremely important, you believe that children can be successful no matter what their background or situation is.
Definitely. We just received an award. We have 9 ASD IND units, which are ESE units for students on autism spectrum and intellectually disabled. But with that, we were able to meet the state requirement for subgroups of showing higher than 41%. So in all of our subgroups, economically disadvantaged, students with disabilities, all minority subgroups, we were able to make the mark. And in the past, they called it making AYP, or adequate yearly progress. This year, we were able to acquire that, and really those kids that just struggle academically, and like I say, our ESE population. So we're really, really proud of that, because we focus on that, and that's not, it's a very rare time or place that you're able to do that, but we've been fortunate to have a great staff that believe in the vision that all kids can learn.
Yes, all kids are capable of success.
That's right.
That's our
right.
mantra of what we say here at St. Lucie County Schools. And listening to you, part of your success has been making sure that the children have what we call ACEs with the kids at Hope Philosophy. And really working that philosophy. I think sometimes we say that all kids are capable, but we have to believe that as adults first. And so sometimes that's the hardest part, is really working with the adults and the mindsets to understand that these kids can, all kids, every last one of them. And that's what with the ESE, with the different groups and subgroups. You understand that as the leader, and you've done a tremendous job in that area. Now, tell us, you mentioned about your background as in other schools and principals and high school. Give us a little background.
So I'm graduate of Fort Pierce Central High School, class of
Okay.
'87. Go Cobras. My mom and
My
dad.
husband is too,
that's-
so I can say go Cobras.
That's right, go Cobras. My mom and dad were not from here. They're from Sanford, which is up the road a couple of hours.
Okay.
But we relocated here when I was in kindergarten, so I've always
Oh.
belonged to St. Lucie.
Since
our
the
school system.
kindergarten.
I've been here since kindergarten.
Oh gosh.
And,
okay.
and so to be able to matriculate through that K to 12 process in all the schools here, and then to turn around and return and be an employee here or teacher and working with teachers I've had who were my administrators. So you would take a Gloria Johnson who took a chance on me my first year in teaching, and to build on that and to build on the community leaders. But I've been through like several high schools, Fort Pierce Central, Port St. Lucie High as an administrator, Morningside Elementary, even some of my alternative ed sites, Dale Cassens, performance-based as a principal. So I mean, I've had several wonderful experiences that I've been able to glean and bring to where I am now. And it's been powerful to even reconnect with those who have come in contact with through those other schools, and even some of the students. I attended Westwood's graduation, and the Val and Sal, the Val, his grandmother was the first principal that hired me as an assistant principal.
Wow.
And the Sal,
What's her name?
Pauline Hebb.
Okay.
And then she hired me at Morningside Elementary as an assistant principal. And then the Sal, his mom worked with me at Samuel Gaines early on. So it was good to see their children come through that process.
So how were you hired as a AP with that Morningside? I mean, what do they? You were a teacher, and then she hires you. So tell us about how does that happen?
So it was a unique process. My background is in secondary, and I was a dean at the time for St. Lucie West Centennial High School, and I had never done elementary. So that's why I said, when I said she took a risk, she's bringing a secondary person into elementary. And I'm going to tell you, between the staff and just her guidance, they really gave me some insight on just dealing with kindergartners, and just that whole look of everything else. But it was one of those things that I've always taken that, that was part of that piece of kids can learn regardless of whom and their background, they can learn. And it was just one of those things that I just truly believe in, like all children are capable.
So take us back now to your life growing up,
All right.
and include whatever challenges you want to include. Yeah.
Okay, that part. Okay, definitely. So we moved here. Like I said, I was a kindergartner in school. I don't have any siblings. I'm an only child.
Okay.
So that was
That's
unique.
always,
Yeah, it was a challenge.
challenge all by
It was a
itself,
challenge by
yeah.
itself. The latchkey kid and coming home and taking care of yourself until your parents get home from work. My mom and dad. Mom was working at Bell South, and she's a retired Bell South person. My father worked in FP&L, and then my senior year, my dad was killed in an accident. So I had to finish out my senior year, kind of out of touch a little bit, just trying to get through the year. But those teachers at Fort Pierce Central at the time, they were just able to guide me through it, and along with my classmates, they were just there for me to kind of get me through. And then I went up to school to South Carolina State. So I'm an HBCU grad. Go Bulldogs, and just kind of matured a whole lot. I knew there was a lot of things I wanted to get done. My parents made sure I understood the working hard, and make sure you remain humble. And if you're going to help, always help, joyfully go and provide support. And I've always just felt like that. That's one of those things, if I could remove an obstacle for anyone to be a success, allow me. And so those were the things, and I try to continue that. I have a lovely wife and 2 sons, and so I instill that with my sons. They're like 28 and 25 now.
Okay, did they come through the district?
They
I'm sure they did.
They
What
did.
schools did they graduate
They attended Palm Point, LPA, Treasure Coast.
Okay.
So it was good in Morningside. But the great thing about it is my wife is a teacher at Fort Pierce Central, and she speaks like 5 languages, but she's a Spanish teacher. So we met teaching
What's the
my first year.
languages that she speaks? I absolutely love
Spanish,
languages.
French, English, maybe some Creole, because there's like a little bit of a dialect, and I think it's like one
Yeah,
more.
like French
one more.
and Creole
Yes,
is a lot.
correct, correct. Yeah.
Sign language?
No, I don't think
Okay,
so.
tell it
But
in
you know
the
what?
next
She
language
may.
you sign
She
like-
may. She may. Don't hold me to that piece. Yeah,
She may. That's
She
funny.
may.
You're
She
not
may.
too sure.
She may.
Well, she sounds like someone like myself, but she's gotten so much further
yeah.
in that area of languages, you know.
Yes,
I absolutely love different languages and cultures and so forth. So, can you name a person, and I think you already have, but I think other than the individual that you spoke about that gave you that opportunity to come into the school district as a AP, can you name a person that has had a tremendous impact on your life? And if you can think of a teacher, that would be great. But if not, outside of your, whoever you want, just, and why?
Well, it's very interesting because when I think about people who have influenced me professionally, I do think about Dr. Gaines. You know, his name is on the school. However, I'm classmates with one of his daughter. So he's always kind of been around. I think about Dr. Perry, Dr. Taylor, so many others that have been in part of my journey, Dr. Washington. So a lot of people have poured into me, Johnny Thornton. So there were a lot of people that poured into me. And I just kind of like honor them and just try to make sure I'm successful. So those have been on parts of my journey, and I've always been able to go back to them, kind of like they're the elders, and I'm able to share information and then filter it the way I need to be successful. And they're going to be very candid. They're going to make sure, you know, this is why, and their thinking and everything else. So as much as I talk with them, it's oftentimes when talking to them, I'm just like blown away. Like, I think I know so much and I don't know anything compared to what they've had to go through in their experiences.
Right.
Correct.
And that is why it's so important. I just say it all the time, history. Letting our children know where we come from.
Correct.
And who were the great leaders. You know, nobody may not know them from the next person, but they were great leaders in their own right. And how that made a difference.
Correct.
You know, I think of, you mentioned Dr. Gaines, but I think of his wife, Teresa Gaines.
Correct.
And how she made a huge difference in my daughter's life. If she had not been there the day that testing was going to be taking place, my daughter developed the flu during that time. And this was for the SAT. And my daughter went to school. We said, you got to go to school, you got to take this test, you know. And when she went to school, she fell asleep on her desk and did not go to the area where they were testing. And Miss Dampier saw that and saw that Shanique was not there. That's my daughter. Went to the classroom. Her and Miss Gaines made sure she got out of there and got in the right place. She scored in the top 98% in the country IQ on a day that she was sick for minorities. So having those people in place is tremendous. And young people, if you're out there and you say, well, I don't have no one, you do have someone. You have to seek them out. You have to be able to care enough about your future that you're going to find those people and you're going to throw yourself into whatever they are telling you need to do and then do it. That's one of the secrets to success. If you don't want it, or if you don't have the will or the motivation, how far can you go?
And that's that ACE that you talk about. That's one of those ACEs.
And the more ACEs, the greater the success, studies show. So, is there a book or quote that someone might have said to you that changed your life?
Usually I kind of read a lot of Maxwell 5 Levels of Leadership, and I go through that quite often because oftentimes in my roles, they change. So like, I'm definitely not the same principal I was when I came to Gaines because it was a different assignment at the time. So looking at that level of leadership and how am I creating leaders by the time I leave and making this a system issue and those concerns. So usually I refer back to that book quite often. I'm also looking at 4 disciplines of execution, and what it does is part of our Leader in Me and those Covey's 7 Habits. And it gives us some insight on how to become and have that common language with those highly effective habits of students and teachers. So we use that quite often on my campus.
Would you rename those books for our audience? It may be a book that someone would like to read.
Correct. So the Levels of Leadership is by John Maxwell. And then there's the 4 levels of the distinctions of execution. I can't think of who's the author of that right now, but definitely those 2 books have impacted me.
I have a John Maxwell book that I read every day.
Okay.
And it is the daily leadership book where every day there's a different scripture and focus. And yeah, and that's been for years. Yeah, that's one of my books. So things that people have already done and studies that have already taken place that you can learn from. That's why books are so powerful, because you can learn so much and never have to even have met the person, right? So what is the one thing that you feel people have always misunderstood about you? And, you know, in your leadership, position and things that you have to do, just what do you think people have misunderstood about you?
I would say probably how much of probably how approachable I can be. I mean, it depends. My staff sees me in a whole different light that I just kind of realized. They approach and they're like, oh, I didn't know you were just this open. But oftentimes, we're in deep thought, we're in process, and people just don't know how to approach. Or, they may have heard some things and just like, it's easier to stay away. So trying to continue to make sure, I'm looking like I'm able to take your information in and that type of stuff. So probably just, I tell people, just go ahead and approach and read, take it for what it is,
Do you think of yourself as a loner or someone who how do you relate to other people? Because some of us are more extrovert than introverted, but that's a form of, I think, being able to be successful is being able to relate to other people. Do you think of yourself as someone that has had to make extra effort to do that, or what? Talk to us about that.
I was fortunate to, even though I was an only child, I was fortunate to be around churches. I was fortunate to be in the Cub Scouts and things like that. So my parents made sure they exposed me to a whole lot.
Okay.
So to interact with others, that's important. So I would definitely say the biggest piece is I consider I'm very comfortable with being by myself as an only child and entertain myself, which allows me to be creative.
Solitude.
Yeah, solitude.
When you're used to it.
Exactly. Yeah. But it allows me to be creative, and it allows me to analyze a lot deeper and predict some things that may occur. But meanwhile, I'm still entertaining and talking to others because I need their feedback and making sure I'm able to meet their needs. And just, like you said, just, relaxing and having a good time.
Yeah,
great conversations.
Speaking of being a deep thinker, what are some of the things that you think about when you're by yourself?
Oh, wow. I probably try to do a lot of reflection on what I could have done better. Because I know that the longer I live and take each day in, I know I don't have it right. And so, I try to figure out, what can I do next time to make it better? And that's a challenge because I'm a competitive person, but I like to compete against me.
So, you like to compete against
myself. Yeah, I like to compete against
like
myself.
That too, yeah.
And I really want to, I really want to make it one of those things where if someone comes in contact with me, I leave them in a better place than they were. Because I want to pour into people.
Right. That's great. I get that. What advice would you give someone that wants to go into leadership position for the first time?
I would share with them that they're already in a leadership position wherever they are, and how to remain flexible and just continue to reach out to people and build leaders. And your growth has to be within yourself. So even though you may not be able to go on certain things, there are books out there, there's YouTube out there. Go ahead and just expand your foundation and go for it. Yeah, yeah, reach for it.
What is the one characteristic you believe every leader should possess?
Probably being humble.
That's a good one.
Being humble. You have to remember, everybody doesn't have
That's
your.
a really good one.
Everyone doesn't have what you have in your experiences, so you have to be humble. And humility shows a whole lot about a lot of things. Yeah, because within that you have your patience and everything else. So that's probably one of those big ones.
That's a good one. What teacher in school made the greatest impact on you that you could remember?
Well, it's very interesting you asked that question. I have a second grade teacher that still teaches. Her name is Sylvia Young Greer, but she's at CA Moore now. She was my second grade teacher. She teaches kindergarten now, and she just reached out to me.
Again?
Sylvia Greer.
Give her a shout out.
Oh my gosh. This lady, she was a friend of the family, but she used to just say the right things as a second grade teacher to me. I knew I was a talkative child, so I was, and I was growing up during the time of integration. So they were just doing integration at the school. So, I just had so much to say, and as an only child, I didn't have anyone to talk to at the house.
So that's what I was just thinking.
So my whole thing was at the school.
Yeah.
But she knew how to balance my behaviors, to let my mom know and my dad know what was going on with me at school, but not to get me in trouble. But this is his learning process. But she still teaches right now, and I reached out to her the other day, and she keeps me encouraged, and it's just wonderful. So yeah.
I wonder if she would be willing to come and be a guest.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Now that's one that we need to hear from.
Yeah, she's great. Yeah.
So maybe if you can get her information, I'll contact her.
Please, I will.
Is there a skill that you would like to learn? And if so, why would you like to learn that particular skill? Could be in the area of music or whatever.
I'm always envy of other people's talents. My grandmother and a lot of my relatives, they sing. The ongoing joke in my house is I'm the best singer that never was trained.
Oh, so you sing?
No.
Oh, no. Okay.
My wife would tell you
We
no.
want to make sure we get the joke.
Yeah. So that's the ongoing joke in the house. Like, no, he doesn't sing at all. But I think I just like to be able to marvel at talent. So I would say a skill I would like to know is being able to support people in their talents. It's a skill to be able to see it and be able to help them elevate it. Would be
their
something.
talent.
Yeah,
so have a skill where you can help others
So in their
become
talent,
better,
regardless,
whatever it is. Well, that's a heavy skill right there.
That is.
Yeah.
But that's part of our Kids at Hope thing too. Talents and intelligence.
Yes,
That's
it
right.
is. Yes, it is. So, Mr. Davison, congratulations on your award as Principal of the Year and on all the other awards that you have received throughout the state as well as the county. We are so proud to have you as part of St. Lucie County Public Schools family and in the leadership position. And you have shown us how to be a leader in this district.
Thank you.
And we appreciate that.
Thank you for having me.
I've been around for 14 years, and I've seen nothing but leadership skills come from you.
Thank you.
And so we're just extremely proud of your accomplishments. Thank you so much, and
Thank you, ma'am.
hopefully we get to have you back at some point again.
Thank you for having me.
We're out of time today, but thank you for joining into the Speakers Bureau, and I hope that there was something that Mr. Davison said that can really influence and make a difference in your life. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you later.